Hello and welcome to my worm farm. I have 6 healthy bins, and today I'm going to share some really weird things that I feed my worms. The first, if you're a worm farmer, you might already know this, but it's eggshells. So worms have a digestive system where they actually need a little bit of help. Similar to a chicken that has a gizzard and needs some grit to help them digest or break up the food, that's the same as the belly of a worm. So worms need eggshells in their worm bins. Some people blend their eggshells. I just crush mine and throw it in, and they always end up disappearing. They take the longest out of everything else to disappear. When I sell my worm castings, I'll usually sell them with eggshells, but it's okay. It's just calcium, and calcium is a-okay for your garden. In fact, it's beneficial for your garden. So number 2 is I fed my worms a book last week. I've fed them books before, but this one in particular was wet. It looked like decomposition had already started on it, so I figured, hey, if decomposition is happening in this book because my kids had left it outside, then it's likely that the third one is I fed them a phone case. Can you believe it? There's a brand called Case. It's a brand out in Canada, and they make
biodegradable
phone cases. Okay, the fourth weird and interesting and really cool thing that I fed my worms was wool. We are moving into summer, and I had some items that were gonna be just past the point of repair. So what I did was I put them onto the top of the bin. And what we know about wool, or maybe you don't know this, is that it's temperature regulating. So it's gonna help, let's say, mulch or keep the bin at a good temperature, especially in winter months. So the reason I put it in now is because 1, I no longer need it. We're moving into a summer month. 2, we live in a tiny house, and I cannot hold on to things because we just don't have the space for it. So I try to live my life according to the season. And so I moved this stuff out of my home because we no longer needed it. But also, as it gets cooler, we know that summer's just a season. As it gets cooler, that's what I'm gonna mulch the tops of my bins with. So if you're looking for a way to compost outside, have you ever considered wool? Another reason that you'll wanna consider wool is because think about what wool is. It comes from an animal. Animals, once they die, they decompose, right? So yes, it's part of that healthy life biome that we want inside of our bin. I actually, after I thought about will my wool decompose, I pulled a pair of pants that I had stuck in there about 6 months prior, and they were almost gone completely. They were just threads of fiber. I didn't even look at if it was pure wool that these pants were made out of, but the coolest thing is that, they decomposed. The microbes did most of the work. I'm sure that the worms were able to munch on the microbes that were decomposing the wool, but I got off track. So, oh yes, is to bring wool into your home. Once you have a worm bin, I think you start to need to get creative with what to feed them and how much to feed them, and depending on what your goal is with having a worm farm, you can actually start to just live your life according to what you need for your worm bin. So more organic matter in, more organic matter into the bins, and then out into your garden, and then back in. It's like this beautiful cycle of organic biomes here in our home. Fifth, and one I'm most curious about, is compostable plastic packaging. As I said, bringing worms into our home has also made me feel like, how could I do this better, this trash thing? And so when I shop brands, I look for things like, can their packaging be composted? What fabrics are these, and can they be put back into my worm bin rather than go somewhere where they're gonna end up in a landfill anyways? And so just something to think about. What can you put in your worm bin? You don't need to spend any money. It's likely something that maybe you hadn't thought about. And so yes, the challenge is, how can I divert more trash from the landfills and get it into the belly of a worm to recycle and replenish our garden biomes, in turn replenishing our gut biomes and our home biomes.
The plastic packaging I was referring to, and if ever I have a question about whether or not something is not good for the worm bin, I just go in and take a gander at the worms. If it's not good for them, they'll look unhealthy.
Not only do these worms look healthy, there are a lot of them. In my next video, I'll share what a worm bin should look like, feel like, and smell like. Thanks for being here.